Good morning, my brothers and sisters. On this, our next movie review and spoiler cast in the GMGU. If you didn't already know, this is the Good Morning Guys podcast, and this morning we are talking about the next installment of the MCU, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. And we are so thankful, joiners, that you are joining us on this fine morning, afternoon, evening, or night as we discuss the movies we love to watch and the stories that inspire and amaze us. I am your host tonight, the Brasilia Wakandaneer and Transition Panther, Lucas Ham Swisher. Next to me, the judge, the jury, and executioner of surface dwellers and merfolk alike. I totally screwed that up. Merfolk alike, Patrick Novacell.
Yeah. Hello. How's it going? Good evening. Good morning.
Hi.
Afternoon or night.
Yeah, to you too. And our last member present tonight of the GMG Quadfecta, who's got T'Challa in his heart, Vibranium on his brain, and Bully Jolioff rice and Zobo pudding in his old stomacho, Marc Boucher.
Did they mention that in the movie?
They definitely did. That's actually Nigerian dishes, but I looked up online that that's the most equivalent to Wakanda dishes, so I just went with it.
I was like, I don't remember that at all.
They don't have mulligatawny soup, so I went with some different dishes just for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
Even if it's a lie.
Eat Bombay.
Eat Bombay. All right. Guys and gals, let's get into the spoiler-free review and rating of Black Panther Wakanda Forever, the sequel to the hit back in the day that I don't remember the year that it happened, but it was a year.
2017?
That's what I thought. 2017. Maybe. That's what I would have said. We're going to go with it because I did not do my homework because I'm a lazy bum. Yeah. So Patrick.
Yes.
Give us a spoiler-free review. Give us your thoughts. Give us a rating that displays the emotion and the feelings and the thoughts you have about this movie.
Spoiler free. The pacing was slow. The way that we all know what happened to Chadwick Boseman.
Yes.
But the way that they handled it in the movie was very tasteful. I really liked how they did that. Just some of the decisions that were made in this, it seemed like I was like, man, is this over yet? Like I was I didn't, it was like what, 2 hours and 40 minutes or something like that. I'm like, man, I wish this was more like 2 hours and 10 minutes. Like there's just a lot of stuff I was just ready for it to be done. However, there were some very, very powerful, very awesome, very, very good acting scenes. There was a lot of set pieces. There was a lot of, big moments that were really exciting. But also on the flip side, I didn't know why they were happening. I didn't know why they were happening. I just didn't know why they chose to do that. And I'll get into that when we get into the spoiler part of it. But yeah, I mean, this was a Marvel movie. I enjoyed it. I mean, it's Marvel. I really enjoy everything Marvel. But it wasn't. This is more of a middle of the road Marvel movie for me.
Okay.
And the rating I give is 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10 what?
7 out of 10 ankle feathers.
Dang it. I knew you know what? That my rating's slightly different, but you're on the right trail. I like that.
Okay.
I take back my dang it. And I say, I like that. Ankle feathers. All right. Marcus, let's hear it. Spoiler-free rating. What you got?
So I thought this was a very, very fitting tribute to Chadwick Boseman. His presence is felt, even though he's pretty much, they've got like flashbacks to him on screen, like maybe once or twice. Otherwise, his presence is felt even when not on the screen, on the actual screen throughout the entire movie.
Yeah.
It's just the weight of it. It was very, very fitting tribute. I liked the I guess if you could call him a villain in Namor. I like the way that was used. It wasn't the typical like.
Based off the trailer, I think, and no spoilers, we can call him the villain.
Yeah, he wasn't like the mustache twiddling. Yeah, I'm out to get
Dr.
you type
Robotnik.
of plan. Yeah, but I think his antagonism the story well.
Yeah,
sure.
I liked the overall themes of this movie, so I'm gonna give this one 9 3D printed heart-shaped herbs out of 10.
All right.
Let's see. With this second installment of Black Panther, I enjoyed the film as I pretty much do every Marvel movie, property, TV show. I sit down, it's a spectacle. They hit me in the feels. They craft a good story. They've to this point, I feel like they're past the point of at least in the movies. I might be misquoting myself, but I feel like they've passed the point of making bad villains. Like, I feel like every villain they make, since they've gotten past the Dark Elves in Dark World, they make quality villains. And this one was no different. This was a good villain in the form of, mermaid people. That people know from the trailer, so it's not spoilers. But I have to say that I agree with Patrick in terms of some of the decisions. Like, I mentally was going one way, thought this totally fits, makes sense, and then they go the opposite direction, and I'm like, all right. I mean, I'm going to accept it, and I see why you went that direction, but I didn't always like it. However, popping back, the connections to Chadwick Boseman, the ways they honored his memory gave me very much Paul Walker Fast and Furious vibes, and I loved that about it. Like, it really, even though he's no longer with us, actor, character, etc., I still feel him, like you said, present in the film, and I feel like his presence is going to continue beyond, for reasons we'll get into later. So I did really enjoy this film, but it's not my favorite film this year of the films we've watched. I like Black Panther 1 better still.
Black Panther 1 was, a solid movie.
It was a solid movie. This one's good too, but again, it was definitely bloated. So I give it also 7 out of 10. Winged flappy feet is what I'm going to give it. So just to distinguish itself from the ankle feathers, which they were
ankle feathers.
Ankle feathers. So there you go. Yeah. So we give it a group average of around 7.75. So it's not a bad score.
Not bad.
It's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good, man. So pretty good. So with that, let's get into spoilers. Let's kind of just, try to walk through the movie. Okay. Some parts are going to go quicker than others. If you have not watched this movie, we're going to try to walk you through the story and hit on our parts we liked and didn't like and whatever. But really, the best experience, pause this, go to the theater, go to Novacell Now, whatever you got to do, watch it, and then come back, because you really get more out of it when you've seen it. But
sure,
if you want to Wikipedia this and just join us for the ride, regardless, and then see how it, changes your viewing of it. I don't know. Maybe we'll help. Maybe we'll hurt the way you view this in the future. I don't know, but we'll find out.
Yeah.
So they jump. So at the beginning, before we get into the actual plot of it, I just want to say that this opening, what is it? It's not the opening crawl. Like when they show the Marvel Studios.
Yes.
Silence with everything being Chadwick Boseman. Wow. You could hear a pin drop in the theater. Like it was.
Nobody was doing anything in the theater. Throughout the rest of the movie, people are like cheering, clapping, excited. But during this opening, it was whisper quiet.
The only thing that really made me mad was during our viewing of it. Like, it was pretty much dead quiet with the exception of some idiot fumbling around with their popcorn bag.
Oh my gosh. It was like,
Otherwise, dead silence. but
Yeah. It was just incredible. Like, just the silence. It was like they didn't have to say, let's have a moment of silence for Chadwick Boseman, the real person. I just felt it in that moment.
Yeah.
And felt even inclined just to pray for his family, like, and be thankful for, this movie is partially a celebration of his life. So, and what he means. Cause like, that's one of the things that I liked about it, as I felt like the movie encapsulated, you could tell the actors and actresses they were speaking for their real Chadwick Boseman. They were speaking for themselves. He mirrored so much his character in terms of being a hero, in terms of being inspiring to others. And you could see that in this film. And no one can ever take that away from this film. That is beautiful. Like, I really like that about the film. So, with that, they jump in with T'Challa being sick and then dying from a disease. They don't name the disease. He has a disease. Mm-hmm. Shuri doesn't go to his side. She's working to save him by synthetically creating the heart-shaped herb that they use to, make the Black Panther. And she fails, and he dies. And it's a tough way to open the movie, for sure. What did you guys think of this opening scene, Patrick?
I thought it was like I said before, very tastefully done. I like how it's Black Panther, but it's really a tribute to Chadwick Boseman. So this was a very, very emotional beginning, because when she's scrambling, she's yelling, and she's trying to get faster, and she gets like 51% of confidence rate or whatever it was, and she's like, that's got to be good enough. And then she's about to run to go give it to Black Panther, and her mom just comes out and says it's over. And it was just and from then on, it's very emotional beginning, and I thought that was a very appropriate way to do it. I was thinking, like, man, could they have done something different? But I think no. I think that was really well done.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I know I'm getting a little ahead of myself of us here, what we're talking about, but like Angela Bassett in this movie as Ramonda.
Oh my gosh. Rwanda? Is that her name?
Ramonda.
Love you.
Ramonda. Ramonda. Yeah. She was like, when I was talking about powerful scenes, like that powerful scene when she's in that courtroom, amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, she did she had multiple moments where she carried like the moment, and she like just totally put all of her heart, all of her soul into what she was saying and doing. And it was powerful for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, the visuals in this, obviously the whole scene where they're having the funeral for T'Challa, and, they're basically parading down the street and everything, and preparing for his casket to be taken off by the ship. Yeah. And Shuri has to like double back and she just breaks down on the casket, like powerful stuff.
Yeah,
for sure. And I think mirroring real life to this movie, or mirroring the movie to real life, having T'Challa die of a disease, I did not imagine they would do that. Honestly, I didn't know what they would do. I was like, are they going to have someone like do like he's in a suit, and like they have just someone in the suit, since you don't see him, you can just have him like, being a hero and then dying being a hero or whatever. And they just mirrored real life. And I thought that was a tasteful way to do it. So I thought that was a good choice on their part. In terms of the story from there, we go to a year later. Wakanda's under pressure to share the vibranium. Everybody else is angry because they won't share. They try to steal it from them. We have, a very powerful courtroom scene, like you talked about, Patrick, where it's clear it's us versus them. France and the U.S. is leading the discussion, and then also being exposed for being not hypocrites, but almost like they're being fake because they're like, it's not nice, you won't share with us, and then behind the scenes they're trying to steal and kill and get what they want. So that was definitely setting up the struggle that Wakanda is having and will have in the future. From there, they go to a site in the movie where they expose vibranium that's outside of Wakanda, which apparently in this universe and in this time is the first time that vibranium has been found outside of Wakanda. And it's from there that they reveal the Mer people. And we don't know anything about them at this point. They attack the CIA, U.S. Navy SEAL team, and they show a few different power sets, such as being like sirens and convincing people to just jump off to their deaths into the water. And then also being able to, I think did they show the water bombs at this point? I don't remember.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I think they just show that they're really tough, and like they show someone who can grab a helicopter out at midair. At this point, we don't really know very much, but so they have that part going on. Did you guys have any thoughts about the opening reveal of the Mer people, of the kind of the terror buildup for, oh, these are powerful enemies, that kind of stuff?
I thought I was watching Avatar.
That's true. I didn't think about that. We did have an Avatar trailer right before.
That's true.
Panther. So that's a good call. Good call.
Yeah, my buddy was. I watched it with my buddy. He leans over and he's like, "Avatar Forever."
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty cool scene to watch. Obviously, like it's kind of jacked up that they immediately decided like it's the Wakandans. Like,
yeah, I thought that was a little weird. Like, yeah. And I guess it's because they didn't have any real eyewitnesses.
Yeah,
correct. Because they took out everybody on that ship. So I guess it makes sense, but at the same time, it's like, come on, guys, let's just blame the Wakandans for everything. So yeah, they blame the Wakandans. In the process of this, at the same time, Ramonda and Shuri kind of go to get a little away from everything. It's been a year since T'Challa died, and they're mourning. They're supposed to burn their funeral clothes. Shuri refuses to burn hers. And when they're in the middle of kind of arguing, Namor pops up, and they introduce him, and he's got, ankle feathers, as Patrick said, and he's speaking with a little bit of a Hispanic accent, little Spanish accent, and has little pointy elf ears, and is quite the sight to behold. This is the introduction to Namor. Now, I did not personally know much about Namor outside of Marvel Ultimate Alliance. That is my only connection to Namor. If you remember, in Ultimate Alliance, you do go to the underwater place. Is it called Atlantis in Marvel Ultimate Alliance? Do you remember, Patrick?
I think it is.
No, I don't know.
I don't remember.
Right? But they don't call it Atlantis I don't know if that's because, I don't know why that is. They give it another name,
Talokan.
Yeah, they give it a different name. But what did you guys think of the intro to Namor, his threat to deliver the scientist that invented the vibranium detector, or they would attack Wakanda?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty jacked up that they were able to basically, pass all of Wakanda's defenses. So that tells you right away that they're formidable opponents. But, they don't start out as like, straight up, we're going to blow your stuff up. It's like, listen, we have a common goal here. If you help us, then, all good, but if not, it's big trouble for you guys.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because, like I said, Namor is a villain, but he's not like a straight up villain.
Right, in the comics.
Yeah. And even here, like he's got his people's interest in mind, and is not just looking to just terrorize everybody. Now granted, he has this plot to want to destroy all the surface dwellers,
right? Once he has some baggage, and skipping ahead a little bit, when he shares his backstory, I will say that I found the backstory to be unique, interesting. I think it's cool that there are different people groups that have been impacted by vibranium. I don't know if Mark, you can answer this maybe, but in the comics, does vibranium have this effect where it affects plant life in a way where it gives people powers, or is that an MCU thing? I thought it was cool. I like how they eat the vibranium flower near the water, and it gives them merpeople powers. But
I want to say that that's an MCU thing.
Yeah, it feels like it is, because I don't remember ever seeing that in comic book lore.
Yeah, I would have to double check on that, but from what I understand, I don't think so.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think it's part of building the character, giving some empathy. Like in the movie, he's born of a woman who was just a normal human being, a part of the Mayans, the Mayan Empire, and they eat these plants or drink the plants, and she's pregnant. He comes out, he's half mer, half man, best of both worlds. He can breathe out of the water, in the water. He's super strong, all that stuff. He's pretty much Aquaman in the Marvel universe. I don't know who came first. Do you guys know who came first? I'm always curious about these things.
I want to say Aquaman came first.
I would imagine he did, but yeah. So he's Marvel Aquaman, and he seems like a pretty intense, pretty broken guy who's just angry at the world and wants the surface to burn. Yeah. So I will say, I don't know if this is one of the things that I got to the end and I was like, how much of a threat were they really to the surface? Because one, they can't go very far before they dry out. Two, outside of whales and belugas and fish and being really strong, they showed no technology advancements that I think they would be able to effectively use against the surface dwellers. So when they threaten the surface, I'm like, what are you guys going to do? Like, how are you going to hurt, the Midwest where it's super, super inland and away from the water? What did you guys think of the threat to destroy the world, to destroy the surface dwellers? His whole approach to that, Patrick, you're kind of smiling.
I mean, they were like 30,000 feet under the sea. It was like, they even talk about it. It's like, you got to wear this suit to get down here. Otherwise the pressure of the water is just going to break every bone in your body. So I'm like, and they don't even know how to get all the way down there. So really, how in the world are they even going to find this place? Because they go through this like weird wind portal to actually get down there. So I'm like,
that was not a weird wind portal. That was the EAC. righteous. Come on, Finding Nemo.
Let's see how
Anyone?
Squirts does flying.
I mean, like, it's like, who's looking? I don't know. I thought it was a weird plot. Very thin plot for me on that. It's like, and what are they, like you said, what are they going to do in the surface dweller? They're going to throw these water balloons at people in the Midwest?
Hey, like they're pretty powerful water balloons.
They're going to carry them like in a big like sack all the way inland. Like I don't know. I think it was just I couldn't follow it because I was like, this just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
No, I didn't really think that far into it. Like I feel like they're not going to travel all the way to the Midwest just to destroy stuff. Like I'm sure if they're
going to destroy all the surface dwellers, they're going to have to cover the Midwest.
Right. But my point is
shoreline?
They're not going to have to travel to the Midwest. They probably have technology that just covers that.
Yeah. And that's what I thought was weird. Like, I felt like they didn't do a good job as displaying that. It was just empty threats. Like, we're going to destroy the surface with our water balloons. Be prepared. Oh, no. Yeah. I got wet clothes. You got my car wet. I'm wet now. What am I going to do?
I'm all wet.
I got class in 15 minutes, but I can't go. Now I'm going to fail out. You've destroyed society because none of us can graduate.
Well, obviously, like the big problem that you run into is that there is a device that locates vibranium.
It's true.
And like Wakanda, the people of Talokan have vibranium.
Yeah.
So
And they need it.
Vibranium's everywhere now. Then
yeah. Well, apparently there are actually 2 meteorites, I believe.
That we know of.
Yeah.
There might be more.
right.
Yeah. But
I
I believe
think-
in comics there's 2 different
I
types
think
of
there's
vibranium.
there's one in Antarctica where they're going to find a civilization of penguins that are
Yeah, and
totally
then
souped up and
those-
massive.
The people that were in these big, enormous, like immovable suits, you think they're going to be able to have an army of those immovable suits to get all the way down to where Namor and his tribe is?
It's like an
Oh.
army of the little brother
Yeah.
from Christmas Story whose arms are out straight.
Yeah,
and they're like,
that's
we're going to fight you. I double dog dare you to punch Namor with your suit fist.
Well, I feel like they'd be able to get, ships down there, not just armies of people in giant suits.
You might be right.
I would like to see the army of giant suits.
Yeah, I'm paying good money to see the army of suits. Anywho, you were going to say something, Marcus.
By the way, I was wrong. Namor came first.
Oh wow.
Oh, eat that, Aquaman! You're the Namor.
DC, suck it.
Old Aquaman's a DC Namor. That's what I'm going to call him from now on. Speaking of that, I will say I thought the backstory, going back to like his whole like wanting to destroy the surface, I get it. Like him observing what the Spaniards and people did
Sure.
to native people, totally get it. And he stewed on that for hundreds upon hundreds of years. It totally makes sense that he would be a maniac and be ready to destroy the surface. But it's still, I was like, how are you really going to, did you really think this through? Like, are you just going to fly on your little feather ankles and just blow up everything in the air?
Dude, think about it. They're ocean dwellers. They have control over the oceans. Think about the type, if they had control over like waves and creating typhoons and
well, it's just they didn't demonstrate it. At least demonstrate
right.
something.
And I mean, that's fair.
Give the Wakandans a reason to be afraid.
Sure.
But I don't know. But anyways, back to the story of, Namor. I liked his where his name came from. Without love, Namor.
Yeah.
Namor. I thought that was a cool. I never knew. I don't know if that's accurate to the comics, but in the movie, I thought that was cool that they made that connection, that he was called Namor because he had no love for anyone. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah,
So,
I like villains with the backstory, with like a reason why they're doing something like that.
Right.
And it was very personable. It was very emotional for him, and so besides the stupid big huge bubble suit people going down, I really enjoyed like his backstory. I could relate to that.
tell you what, Mark, homework. I need you to re-download Battle Simulator. What's that? Mega Battle Simulator.
Totally
accurate.
Battle
Yes,
Simulator.
and I need you to make 2 armies. One of the Namor, the Talakon people fighting against the suit people, and then just see what happens.
I'll be sure to not do that.
Fair enough. All right, zapping over to the current times, what was going on. Shuri and Okoye find out from Everett Ross, return of Bilbo Baggins,
Hey,
the CIA agent.
Wait,
that,
his name's Bilbo Baggins? That's not Bilbo, is it?
That's Bilbo from The
he
Hobbit.
plays Bilbo in the Hobbit movies.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
The abomination
The younger
of
Bilbo.
movies that
Oh, that's
Peter
right,
Jackson
okay.
made
Yeah.
that
It's Martin,
I will not.
Martin Freeman.
Yeah. He tells them who designed or where they can locate the person who designed the vibranium detector, which is the reason that Namor is threatening Wakanda.
Mhm.
And so that's when we are introduced to Riri Williams, who is an MIT student, 19 years old, very young, comes out of nowhere and is just a genius, making all kinds of crazy stuff. And then from there, they track her down. They try to extract her and take her back to Wakanda, but then a pursuit ensues. They have a little scuffle with the water people, the what do I
Avatar.
call them? The Avatar people. Thank you. The
Yep.
Avatar people, the blue people, and I thought this was a really fun turn of events. I enjoyed the back and forth between Okoye and Shuri about like her makeup, and then just the different. This is that they know each other, and so they're going to have these little small talk, and then the fight. But like seeing Okoye get owned eventually by the very large blue man, not to be confused with the Blue Man Group. And that was a scary moment. I thought she was going to get. I thought they were going to kill her. Like for a split second, I was like, "No way."
I want to back up a little bit. What was her name? Riri.
Riri. Yeah.
When she's flying that Iron Man suit up in the air, and she's up there doing calculations of when to hit this drone, so it blows up all these other cars, so that Shuri and Okoye can keep driving on I thought that was awesome. I thought it was cool. Really, it kind of showed like how smart she is. She's like the hypotenuse of the square root of the thingamajig.
If I hit the rotary girder of this drone, it's going to take all these cars out.
It was a pretty sweet. It was pretty sweet.
I will say the setup for the suit before, like she talked about how it took her months, or this was like a lifelong project. And then it looked not that great. It was like an exoskeleton. I mean, I guess it looked better than Tony Stark's
Iron Man 1 suit. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, you spent months on this? Really? But
well, I mean, she's putting also stuff together with a pile of scraps.
She's true. Also 19. So
that's true. Yeah. It's true. Taken in the context, it was just funny. And she made up for it later, of course.
Yes.
Once she got her hands on, Wakanda scraps.
Yep.
So, yeah. From there, Okoye gets stripped of her title as general from the Dora Milaje, and Shuri and Riri get captured by Namor. Thankfully, they don't kill Riri, thanks to Shuri looking out for her. And from there, that's where Namor gives his backstory. He shows Shuri Talokan, and just kind of, Shuri gets to wear that big cool suit that Patrick's going to dress up as next Halloween. If he wasn't planning on it, he totally should. So they have this kind of heart-to-heart chat. What did you guys think of the introduction to Talokan? Where did you think this was going at this point? Now that Shuri and Namor were kind of warming up to each other, I thought. So where did you think this was going from here, Mark?
I didn't know if they were trying to hook them up together.
Right. I totally got that vibe.
I'm glad Shuri stepped out of it, or snapped out of it when she realized, dude's like ready to destroy and kill a whole bunch of people. Yeah.
He's like, let's make an alliance so we can burn it to the ground. It's like, oh, okay.
Well, and I guess in Namor's defense, not that there's really much to defend there, but like when he sneaks up on her and Ramonda, Shuri basically says that she wants to burn the world, basically, right. And he taps into that. Yeah. When they're having this conversation, she's in a very, very volatile state where she just feels this violence inside of her.
Yeah.
And so, which to me made sense for other things to happen, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but he's trying to basically appeal to her volatile state, and thankfully she has a stronger head on her shoulders and thinks about the fact that he's about to kill a whole bunch of people, just to keep his people hidden and all that kind of stuff. So it's definitely an interesting scene.
Yeah, for sure. From there, we get a little rescue. Once I think they distract Namor. Am I right? The Ramonda calls to Namor to pretty much tell him, hey, this isn't going to work. And while they're distracting him, Nakia, I think that's how you say her name.
Yep, Nakia.
Nakia. They bring her out of the woodwork. She's been working in Haiti with kids. And since the blip kind of disappeared, and so they reconnect with her. She goes back to her covert ways and rescues Shuri and Riri from underwater. kills a few of the Mer people, the Avatar people, and brings them back to Wakanda. And then, of course,
and she did that without the big huge bubble suit.
Yeah,
well, she's got the cool Wakandan stuff.
She does. She had the Wakanda submarine.
Yeah, it was just a film over her face. That was enough.
I mean, it's Wakanda film, so it's
all right.
It's powerful. It's powerful.
All right.
Well, I mean, Shuri was pushing this suit for well, I guess
Shuri
she
is
wasn't
like 3 pounds. There's no way that she can be able to move in that thing.
In the flashbacks, you could see how much weight Shuri had lost. Like she was definitely, she had been doing some Taibo or some aerobics. I don't know. I obviously don't do any of that, so I don't know what to say. So from there, Namor, he brings some Avatar folks, and they wreck shop of Wakanda, and they totally like wrecked the place with like, it felt like a couple dozen people. Namor pretty much took care of everything in the air, blowing up planes, eventually, throwing his water balloon bombs that are very powerful water balloon bombs, I have to say, and drowning Ramonda after she saves Riri. That was tough.
Yep.
Her death, seeing like doing almost mirroring exactly what they did for T'Challa, the funeral, uncovering the casket. What a just poignant moment, not only in that whole funeral scene, but then also the conversation between M'Baka. Am I remembering? M'Baku. Yeah, I always leave the M'Baku and Shuri. A really tough heart to heart where you can tell Shuri is broken and she's angry.
I felt so bad because, like, Civil War, her dad is dead.
Yeah.
This movie, she loses her brother and her mom. Basically her entire family is dead.
Right. Yeah. That's rough.
Yeah. I mean, that's like all 3 movies this year.
Yeah.
Whether you look at Thor, he lost everybody. He goes through it through Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
The villain of Doctor Strange, she lost everybody, real and fake. Like, just a lot of loss, and dealing with the fallout of that. It's tough. And so from there, Namor says, hey, from there he had said, you got a week. I'm coming back with my whole army, and we're going to destroy you. And that was his biggest mistake. He gave him a week to prep. And so from there we get the roll the footage, time to prep. And so
montage.
A little montage, everybody getting ready, Okoye getting talked into the blue, I don't know, Kit Fisto suit. I don't know what to call it. Like, it's just like buggy-eyed blue suit that's totally not Okoye whatsoever. But she wore it well. Spoilers. She wears it well, uses it to fight well. But yeah, so they finally are able to synthetically produce the heart-shaped flower, and Shuri drinks the juice, goes into the ancestral plane, and runs into none other than Killmonger. What a moment this was.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
What did you
Everybody
think of this
in the
moment?
room was like, oh.
Yeah. What did you think of this moment, Patrick, seeing Killmonger sitting in the seat?
I was like, oh, snap. She's going to go down more of a villain path. She's going to do the revenge. She's going to get revenge. And man, Killmonger, Michael B. Jordan, he is so good in
what a
that
guest
role.
appearance.
So good in that role. And
I'm so sad he's dead. I really am. He's so good.
Yeah. So I thought this moment was, he's trying to convince her. And he's like, you want to go down my path, or you want to go down your brother's path? I think that's what basically what it was.
Yeah, he's like, you want to be noble like your brother, you want to take care of business like you should.
He almost said it like, you want to do this. You want to do it my way. I know you do. You can deny it all you want. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was very, very, very awesome. One of the best scenes, in the movie was right here with them talking back and forth. I thought it was really
sure.
Good. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. And so there she returns, and she's very disappointed. She's like, it didn't work. Nobody showed up. And then she punches something and it goes through the wall. And they're like, oh, it did work. Time to suit up.
And then Riru's like, can I get one of those?
yeah. Can I drink a little bit of that? Yeah.
Get any more of that?
Yeah. And so from there, she goes to the meeting where the rest of the Wakandans have been transferring a bunch of civilians and in the mountains of M'Baku's kingdom. And she has a little powwow with the elders and is like, hey, Black Panther's in the house. And they're like, woo, woo, let's go.
You notice
And,
her suit is very, very reminiscent of Killmonger's outfit. Like there's a lot of gold.
Yeah, that's true.
Gold spots.
I've gotten all of them mixed up what they all, the different suits are associated with who. But yeah, now that you say that, that's a good
Go
grab.
look at Killmonger's quote unquote Black Panther suit, and then look at Shuri's outfit. There's a lot of similarity.
Yeah. So she meets with them and pretty much says, "Hey, we are taking the fight to the Mer people, the Avatar Blue Man group. We are taking the fight to them. Let's get a move on." M'Baku tries to talk her out of it. She will not listen. She's like, "You better get with the program, son. We are taking the fight to them." So they pretty much hatch a plan to dry him out, take him away from the ocean, to weaken him, and they hope that will prevent any further bloodshed. So they get to it. They send a boat out in the middle of the ocean, in the Atlantic Ocean.
Middle of the ocean.
I was like, really? Is this how we're doing this? All right.
Yeah, a little baffling decision made there.
I mean, I get it. They're trying to, make them think they have the upper hand, and which we find out by the end of the battle, they pretty much did have the upper hand. It wouldn't have taken them too much longer to destroy everyone. But yeah, so the big battle happens, and all the guns are out. Riri Williams has her Ironheart suit. Is that am I remembering that right?
Yeah.
Pretty sweet suit. I mean, pretty sweet for a first real crack at a suit, I have to say.
Yep.
She had the huge shoulder pad, rocket boosters all over her rocket body, fighting Namor. What were some of you guys' favorite parts in the final big battle? Outside of of course, Namor and Shuri, which we'll save that one for later. Any highlights for you during the battle, Marcus?
Yeah, I loved the introduction to Ironheart here. I was kind of bummed that they didn't let her take that suit with her.
I know, right? We're like, yeah, we let you borrow that, but we're keeping it.
Obviously, she's gonna get another type of suit because they're making a show, an Ironheart show. So obviously she's gonna get that back in some way, shape, or form. Whether it exactly looks like that, I don't know. But yeah, this whole thing where they're they're working together, they're doing all these kinds of stuff with their new suits and everything, and it was really, really cool to see, and using the sound wave technology to at least hold the murder people off for a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is really cool, and you could tell that these guys have some fight in them, and they're ready to take it to them. But yeah, I mean, those were the major things that I enjoyed.
Pat,
how about you? Any notable skirmishes, fights?
This whole scene was just weird.
Yeah.
When they go out to the sea, I'm like, well, they're screwed. They're in the middle of the sea. There's no way for them to get. I mean, that ship was going 3 miles an hour. They're not going fast at all. They couldn't retreat. If their sonar system, which eventually goes down, I'm like, there's absolutely no way. They are banking on Namor, just his powers being depleted from being dried out. They are banking on this because the rest of the guys that are on the ship they're goners. If this plan doesn't work, they're gone. They're
go
dead.
big or go home. They gambled it all.
So I thought this is the best plan you got, is to go out into the middle of the ocean. Because I think at one point they said they were going to retreat. I'm like, where are you going to go? There's no place to go. These Avatar people are going to be on you so fast because they're so quick in the sea. So I thought that was a weird decision. Also, when Shuri, now she's Black Panther, she's doing all these acrobatic combat, she's been doing this her entire life kind of thing. And I'm like, isn't she just a scientist? Like, I could not follow this at all. I'm like, does she all of a sudden have the powers like Neo just uploaded all of her kung fu and everything inside where she's on? So it was hard for me. I'm like thinking in my head because I don't watch any of the trailers. I don't know who was going to be Black Panther. And when they chose her, I'm like, man, like there's the Dora Milaje. You got people like that. You got Riri or not Riri. Who was the other
Nakia.
Nakia? Yes, I was like, oh, that could be her. So I'm like, like with Shuri, with her being in it, I think that was like a right decision. I'm not knocking them for that decision because I thought that was really cool that she's taken over for her brother. That was really cool. Keep it in the family. But I couldn't get it. Like I couldn't understand how she was able to do all these things just like that.
It's really, to me, it's really not reaching that far, even though she is the quote unquote scientist. She is from a family of an entire tribe of warriors. Like, to say that she's never had any sort of fight training.
She doesn't look like she's had any fight training.
Yeah, she may not look like it, but I mean,
yeah. I was trying to remember in the first movie. I just remember having the sonic guns, which she applied to her Black Panther suit, which was appropriate till they broke. But I could not remember for the life of me if she did any fighting. I thought she just shot the little cannons and yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's far fetched to assume that she's never had any sort of warrior training.
Yeah.
It's just she fancies herself more in the scientific background of things, and whatever skills she may have had would have been amplified by the Black Panther powers.
And I feel like too, and I don't know that I just kind of accepted it. I was like, at this point, sure, I believe you. But when you think about it, in the first movie, I think they say that when you drink the juice, you inherit the past ancestors' memories and understanding. And so I feel like there's a degree of she just kind of inherits the ability to fight like the Black Panther. So it is just something you just got to go with because it's the magic of the purple flower, heart-shaped flower. And love. Love wins all. So there you go, Patrick. That's your explanation.
Okay.
Now, I will jump off of what you say, and I can't go completely through with this thought because the very end influences this, but I thought they were going to go the direction of making Nakia the Black Panther because she, at some point, is talking to Shuri and talking about how, why she didn't go to the funeral and how it was so hard for her to deal with his death because, for them, he was their Black Panther. For them, he was a son, a brother, a different thing. And then she says, to me, he was everything. And that, just that closeness she had to him, I thought it made sense. And two, with her skills, she had shown through Black Panther 1, her skills at espionage, at fighting, how she was all about the cause and all about protecting the people. It made more sense to me, and it still kind of does, to make Nakia the Black Panther. But I get it. In honoring her brother, like you said, I accept it that Shuri is the Black Panther, and that's fine. Her going through her journey of dealing with vengeance and dealing with hating Namor and all that stuff, I totally get it. But it totally went bloop, the opposite direction I thought it was going to go. Yeah. So
yeah, I think it's just you can tell it's a family thing. Honestly,
yeah.
So I get that. We find out that T'Challa and Nakia, have been together.
Whoa! Spoilers. We're not there yet.
Yeah. Well, but in any case, it's still a family thing, and so to me, that it just made the logical sense to pass it to the next family member. But I get what you're saying. I do, but ultimately, I think that was the right choice because it's a family title.
Yeah. So they do capture Namor. They get him in the their little flying craft and start drying him out. He, of course, starts fighting back. They get into a skirmish and they crash land this this little floaty ship prison on a beach, and then they duke it out. Namor and Black Panther, Shuri, and this is a pretty intense little battle. He is definitely still very powerful, even after being dried out and in the sand and in the sun. At one point, he just stabs her right through the stomach, and it's looking pretty grim. He starts walking toward the sea, and she just, breaks the stick. It hurts me so bad sometimes. They did the scene so well to where you just feel the pain. And she jumps in front of him and just crosses her arm, Wakanda Forever, and just turns on the afterburners to the ship and just lights him up. And he just falls over, and she looks like she's going to kill him, and instead has flashbacks of her brother. Starts to also connect in her mind and her heart that the journey that Namor's been going through of hate and vengeance is the same journey she was going through. And then she sees her mother in the ancestral plane. It all just happens at once. It was a really powerful moment. And she just says, surrender. And he surrenders. What did you guys think of the final fight? Final resolution to the battle conflict between the Namor and their merfolk and the Wakandans?
I thought one or both of them were gonna die at some point.
Oh yeah, did you think someone's gonna die?
Yeah, because she gets stabbed through the stomach.
Yeah,
and then he gets fricasseed. I thought when that ship blew up, I thought she was taking him, he was gonna die. I'm like, what in the world? Why are we doing that? He just gets burned really bad.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, this was a very powerful scene, and it made sense to me because they're both on these paths of anger and hatred and revenge, and they're intersecting at this one point, and they have this opportunity to break the cycle, and Shuri does that. So yeah, I thought it was a great scene.
Yeah.
Now, did she tear off one of his ankle feathers?
She does.
He had 4, so he's down to 3. It might heal. Maybe they'll be able to sew it back on.
I don't know.
But she definitely she ripped it off, and he was like, "Ah!" She's
I know.
I got your ankle feather.
Of all the fighting, I was like, "Ooh, that probably hurt."
Yeah.
I'm assuming he can heal because when he's at the end of the movie, he's back in Talokan and he looks fine. So obviously he's healed from his injuries of being burned. So
yeah,
it wouldn't be outside of the realm of possibility that can heal.
Sure.
So
yeah. So from there, it's been resolved. They've made peace. Shuri told him, "Hey, I'm going to protect your secret. We're going to protect the ocean with you. It's going to be fine. Be cool, man. Be cool." So he gives in. We're all good. And that's, they bring resolution. They all have their little good job, hugs, kisses, Riri, go back to school. Wakanda's forever. Yeah, can't take the suit. Sorry about your luck. And then we get into the after credit scenes.
Hold on, I have a question before we get it. I don't know if this was one of the after credit scenes.
Maybe it was. Maybe it wasn't.
Isn't Shuri, since her mother had died, doesn't that make her queen? Isn't she supposed to be on the throne? Or if you're Black Panther, you can't be on the throne and Black Panther at the same time.
Sorry, you're right. That's the real end. They go to do the ceremony where they're gonna whoever's queen or king has to prove themselves, right?
Right.
Shuri's supposed to be there, but she doesn't show up. Instead, M'Baku shows up and says, "I challenge to be king." So I'm assuming he's going to become king.
Does she step down? Hey, I don't want to be on the throne?
I don't know if there's implications there.
I'm not sure
what the implications are. I don't know. They'll probably explain that.
I think he... I don't know. I wondered that too. And I feel like she can still be Black Panther and he can be king. Maybe.
Yeah, because was it T'Challa's? What was his dad's name?
T'Chaka.
T'Chaka? That's right. Wasn't he king and Black Panther?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
so it can't happen. So it's whether or not Shuri wants to be running it all and be Black Panther. I guess.
But instead of going to the ceremony, she goes to Haiti and visits Nakia and finally burns her robe of mourning.
Yeah.
And then it's also revealed, as Mark said, that T'Challa and Nakia had a son 6 years prior. And Toussaint, or it's revealed his real Wakanda name is T'Challa, appropriately.
Mm-hmm.
And
this
so
is how we get a T'Challa Black Panther again.
Someday.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So what'd you guys think? I thought this final scene was very reminiscent of Paul Walker, just the kid was so cute, just cool conversations. It was I found it to be very cathartic. So
now when you saw the boy walking down towards Shuri, did you think that was T'Challa's son?
Yeah.
Okay, so I did the same thing. I'm like, oh, okay, they're doing this after credit scene. Why would a boy be coming down with her? I can't remember her. I always forget her name.
Nakia.
When she's walking, when they're both walking down, I'm like, okay, that's his son. Okay, and then when they reveal that his name is T'Challa, like everybody in the theater was like, oh, no way. I'm like, oh man, I felt like that was like a given. Like did your audiences also do that?
It was more just, I thought it was the meaning, the significance of passing his name down. It wasn't so much I didn't think it was a reveal or it wasn't supposed to be. If people thought, if at that point they thought it was a reveal that he was a son, well, they'd already kind of said that. So
yeah, I think it was more so the reveal at the name, what his actual name is.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That was cool. Really cool.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and from there, I think that's about it. They did reveal, and we didn't mention this. We didn't touch a whole lot. I kind of felt like Bilbo Baggins' role was kind of minor. He was just there to give information, but they did reveal that what's her name?
Val.
Yes.
Contessa.
Yeah, Valentina Fontaine, director of the CIA, also who's pretty much getting together the Thunderbolts. For the future. She was married to him and she arrests him. And then he's freed by Okoye in her Kit Fisto blue tentacled suit. Yeah. I think that about covers it. So you guys have any other final thoughts on Wakanda Forever?
No, I think that's about it.
All right. Well, that covers it for me too. Sorry,
Yeah.
It's after midnight for sure. As is tradition, some quick housekeeping with all the Andy's candies and pillows and all that GMG news you need to know. You can find us on Twitter, Twitch, Discord. You can hang out with us. Just put in the the old whatever it's called, Linktree. Yeah, thank you. One link to rule them all. I'm totally blanking. I almost fell asleep right there. linktree.com/the GMG pod. We also have merch. We got Patreon. We got 929 GMG guys. We got all that stuff. Check it out. Click it. Go to it. MySpace page. Do it. All right, Pat and Mark, along with you, our beloved friends, family, and joiners, go get your good morning this week, and may God bless and guide your lives as you live, as you work, and as you journey through the realm of film.